This is going to be my top 5 for people who are just starting out shooting on film. First of all, I really love how the film community is growing the last couple of years. I see a lot more people shooting on film cameras nowadays. And last time I went out to the city, I saw a lot of younger people shooting with some point-and-shoot cameras, just documenting their moments. But it's not only the younger people, I also see a lot of older generations picking up their old film cameras again. But that's not the point of this episode. I'm going to give you my top 5 for people who are just starting out shooting on film. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk It Over. Number 1. If you are looking for a camera because you don't have one already, pick one that fits your style of shooting. Pipi even weg. You have so many options to go through, but the first question you have to ask yourself is, what format do I want to shoot on? Most of the time I recommend 35mm to beginners, because there's a lot of different cameras, which most of the time are a lot cheaper than medium format. And I would definitely recommend starting out with a cheaper camera. There's also a wide choice of different lenses and film stocks to choose from. You can have 36 shots on a roll instead of 10 on a 6x7 camera, and I think the cameras are a bit more easy to handle. Definitely if you are used to a digital camera. But don't let that scare you away from medium format. If you want to shoot medium format, definitely go for that, with all the benefits that come with it. Like the high dynamic range, more detail, that shallow depth of field look. Just choose what fits your style. I just wouldn't recommend this if you are shooting street or more documentary style, but if you are all into portraits or landscapes, just go for it. I shoot a lot more 35mm myself because I like to take shots of moments that are happening quickly. I have my camera around my neck all the time, and that is impossible with the RB67. I use medium format mostly for slower pace shootings or portraits. And I also really love how 35mm looks. Tip number 2, scan your own film. I know this might be a big step for people, but I can promise you, once you get the hang of it, it will save you a lot of money, but also you can get the final image how you imagine it to be. I got an episode about how I scan my work. Go check that out after this episode. I'll link it down below. But if you're not interested in scanning your own work because you started out shooting film because you don't want to be behind a computer all day, send it to a good lab. The thing is, scanning has a really great impact on how your final image will look. And to be honest, those quick develop and scan services will not do your work justice. So choose a good lab, pay the extra money that it will cost, and you will be happy in the end when you get your results. Just do some research on some labs in your country and look them up on Instagram. Compare some results and see which style you like the most. I do have to say, at each lab there's someone else that's scanning your work, there's a person behind it, and they'll make the choices about how they think the image should look. And that's the biggest reason why I love to scan my own work, even though it takes some time to do it. I would recommend DSLR scanning, but I've seen a lot of people getting great results with flatbed scanners or dedicated film scanners. Number 3. Just some basic exposure tips. Color film really loves light and doesn't really like it the other way around. That's why a lot of people love to overexpose their film by 1 or 2 stops. It will also give a little bit more of that pastel? It will also give you a little bit more of that pastel look if that's what you're going for. For example, if you have a roll of Portra 400, you would set your meter on your camera or your light meter to 200. Or if you have a roll of Kodak Gold, which is ISO 200, you set it to 100. You can also meter for the shadow part of the image. Just point the meter to a darker space in the frame and get a reading from that. Don't be afraid of blowing out your highlights because, like I said, film really loves light and can handle overexposure really well. One thing I really recommend people to learn is the Sunny 16 rule, which can be a little bit difficult in the beginning, but once you get to know it, you will be a lot more confident in exposing your film. Then you can know the exposure before even touching your camera. The Sunny 16 rule means that if it's a clear sunny day, your aperture should be at f16 and the shutter speed at the same value as your film stock. For example, if you are shooting Portra 400, Your aperture should be at f16 and your shutter speed at 400, or in my case 500, because that's the closest to 400 on the Leica M6. If you guys would like me to explain this more and make a full episode about it, let me know in the comments down below. Also, write down your exposures, because afterwards you can see what you did wrong or what you did right. Number 4, just start out with cheaper film stocks. Because if you mess up a roll, and everyone does, it won't hurt you as much as the more expensive film stocks. And the colors will still look great. Just take a look at these shots. These were shot on Kodak Gold. Once you get a bit more experience and confidence with film, you can go to some more expensive film stocks, but only if that's what you want. Number 5. It might sound a little bit cliché, but keep on shooting. I know it can be demotivating to get a roll back from the lab and there are no good exposures and only compositions, but you will learn from that. Go and watch tutorials on YouTube, but definitely go out and shoot. Learn and repeat. A big thing, and I think everyone does from time to time, don't compare your work to others. I know it's easy to go and look at other people's work and think, damn, my photos don't look this way, or I don't live in California where they have a different sun than in my country, or I need a more bigger, expensive camera, new lenses. But all of those things will never make you a better photographer at all. Most likely there are great things to photograph in your country or in your area. You just have to go out and find them and then shoot them. And don't be too quick to jump into more expensive gear or film, just enjoy the journey. Also, don't forget that those photographers that you might look up to also take bad photographs. And most of them possibly have years of experience and are still learning every day. And I wish that each roll that I shoot would be filled with bangers, but that's definitely not the case. Just take a look at some of these. And that's going to be my top 5 for people who are just starting out shooting on film. So just have fun, learn and keep on going. Don't get shook by looking at other people's work, and if you have any more questions, just hit me up on IG or put them in the comments down below. I will try to answer them the best as I can. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Peace.